First of all, thank you very much for participating and also being here in the webinar of Illuminate and Digital C, where we talk about revealing the insights of live selling. So hopefully this webinar today can give us insights and also new knowledge to everyone. Okay, so while we wait for the others to join, first of all, I would like to explain first several things related to this webinar. So firstly is this webinar, we are going to have 3 speakers, and where right now we have Indonesian speakers as well as English speakers. So, but don't worry, because we also provide this feature of simultaneous translation of English and also Indonesian as well. So for those of you who would like to listen or prefer to listen in a specific language, you could just activate the feature by clicking the feature of interpretation that is at the bottom of your Zoom and pick the language that you prefer. So whether that would be in English or in Bahasa Indonesia. And when our speaker is speaking in English, then there would be a simultaneous translation in Bahasa Indonesia. You could just click Indonesian. And if you prefer to listen in English, then when our speaker is speaking in Bahasa Indonesia, then you could click on the English channel. Okay, so okay, going back to Bahasa Indonesia, don't forget to stay tuned until the end of the presentation because there would be a Q&A session with our 3 speakers. So you can ask your questions that you want to ask, okay? And one more thing, don't forget to follow our LinkedIn account of Illuminate Asia to get the opportunity for an interesting door prize at the end of the session. Okay, so I guess everyone is already very excited. But before we begin the webinar, there is someone special here, which is Dawn Hartman. She's the CEO and founder of Illuminate Asia. So Dawn Hartman here would give some words before we begin and also introduce our 3 speakers. So Dawn, the floor is yours.
Million video content pieces created every single month. So the demand for using TikTok as a channel to further grow brands is really, really increasing. So this brings us to the topic of today's webinar, which is exploring live selling phenomenon and decoding the norms, a study on TikTok live selling in Indonesia. This study was completed as a collaboration between Illuminate Asia and Digital C Indonesia. So it was a comprehensive study, and we had a mixed methodological approach. We used qualitative and quantitative research techniques, and also we did a semiotic analysis of the top 99 TikTok sellers. As Bella mentioned, you can follow along the findings today in either Bahasa Indonesian or in English. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. Our first speaker is Haris Rahamanto, who is the country head of Illuminate Asia. So Haris has more than 20 years experience in marketing, brand management, consumer behavior, and brand and cultural insights. He loves nothing more than turning insights into impactful strategies for our clients' businesses. Harris holds a master's degree in marketing communication, and he also lectures at a leading business school in Indonesia on the topics of marketing and research methods. And he's been with Illuminate since 2017. Okay, our second speaker is Impera Octobrinda, also better known as Pim Pim. She is the head of strategy at Digital Sea Indonesia. Pim Pim is a highly experienced and adept channel agnostic brand, marketing and communication strategist with more than 20 years experience. Her years living abroad and her entrepreneurial spirit and her experience in establishing small consulting business has really sharpened her business acumen. And finally, our third speaker is Lijo Davis, who is the head of digital at Digital Sea Indonesia. So Lijo is a marketing communication professional, specializing in digital, and he's been part of the fast-paced, daily evolving world of marketing since 2008. So observing and gaining knowledge as consumer first, using that knowledge and incorporating digital marketing, brand management and planning, and content strategy in his 15 years of work experience in this very constantly evolving digital landscape. Okay, well, thank you very much. And I'll hand over to our first speaker, Harris. Thank you.
Oke, selamat sore. Selamat.
Okay, yes. Hello. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, okay, so there's a topic that is actually quite interesting for us. So it started why this webinar or why we're having this project is because TikTok is a phenomenon that is amazing, and especially in the live selling. And then talking with Miss Pim Pim, we had a discussion, and it seems like live selling is only like hard selling or like only promotion, but we actually have the potential as well for big brands, not only for selling hard selling, but also branding here. So there comes this idea to make a study that we do together to actually learn about this phenomenon of live selling, what it is like. And also, is it only that way in selling, or is there any other way, and how we can stand out if we talk about live selling? So this project then comes, and we call this as the creating distinctive live selling experience, exploring the phenomenon and decoding. So a bit of the background about Illuminate Asia. So maybe as Dawn has already mentioned a bit, so here in 2011, in how Jakarta and has expanded to Singapore in 2021. So it's not only in Jakarta or Indonesia, but in all Southeast Asia, New Zealand, Australia. And we are a member of ESOMAR, Perpri, and also ARIS, representative for Indonesia. And although the company's age is like 12 years, but our experience when we combine is actually more than 80 years. And this is a bit about us. So from ourselves, actually, what's important from the client is the objective of the business, what it is, and also the objectives of the research as well, so that we can then adjust to the methodology. So the methodology would follow the objective. And what makes us unique and what we also apply here is we see everything based on the cultural insights, and one of them is then shopping. So if we see the phenomenon of shopping consumers nowadays, of course, we can see from the side of the consumer themselves or the shopper. And also what's also important is also seeing the difference in the culture of shopping. And in this study, we have two approaches, which is the in-depth, FGD, and also cultural approach by us analyzing videos from live sellings on TikTok. So that is a bit of the background. Oh, sorry, here's a bit of the background. The project is in July for the field work, where we have two groups, FGDs, consumers or shoppers, and one group for FGD sellers. And not only doing FGDs, but we also do analysis to the top 99 sellers on TikTok. So if you see on TikTok Live Selling, then they would have the top 99 sellers like for those week. Who are they? And we download those, and then we analyze qualitatively to see from these 99 videos what are the categories, for instance, and also the duration of airing and so on. That is qualitatively. And we also do in terms of semiotics. So in semiotics, what we see is not only the videos in general, but we really see everything, which is in terms of visuals, colors, the clothing that the hosts are using, and also the language of the host, and also the gestures that they're using, how they address their viewers. And then we there actually from these videos we see the styles, the language, and that shows then the codes of the culture. So actually, if we see as a consumer, maybe we see as a whole package, we would like to really see all of the elements in the video through this analysis of semiotics. And also, maybe right now, it's also quite of a talk for TikTok, especially related from the government, where they have a plan to, let's say, ban a social media from having an e-commerce as well. So here we would not be talking about that because that is already outside of the context of this study. So if you have any questions regarding the rules of the government, we're not going to talk about them here, but we're going to focus on the findings of the research and also from the videos from the sellers. Okay, so now go into the phenomenon of live selling in Indonesia. First is the perspective of the shopper first. So what actually makes shoppers interested in joining live shopping? So when this idea comes in the beginning, people usually directly have two things. One, okay, why people are interested in live shopping. One is because there's a lot of discounts, and number two is because of the style of selling that pushes people to directly shop at that particular time. And whether there are any other reasons why people are interested to watch or buy through live shopping, actually this can also be applied to live shopping on any platform, not only on TikTok. So if we see actually the difference between shopping through live shopping and others through offline or e-commerce. So if we see what we use mostly right now is maybe e-commerce, and the pluses is that we can shop from whenever, wherever. There's flexibility, convenience, and that is a main factor why consumers actually choose e-commerce as a channel for them to do their shoppings. And what makes live shopping unique and makes it different is actually because live shopping is not only talking about convenience, not only, yeah, talking about the convenience, but there's the factor of entertainments there. So there are a lot of consumers that we talk to, they watch live shopping actually just for fun, which is entertainment for them. So if there's something that's interesting, then they would buy it. So there is an entertainment factor that they could not get if they shop on a regular e-commerce or shopping offline. And one thing that's also interesting from live shopping, besides talking about convenience that you can get from e-commerce, is the fact that there is this experience in store experience virtually. So like if we shop clothing, then we can ask the host to actually do a try on and to see like whether it would suit or not for us. There is this virtual experience, although they cannot physically be there in the store. And there's also direct engagement with the host or the sellers. So there is a question and answer, there's a chat, and the host would directly answer the questions from the buyer. So the response could also be quicker so that they have a good engagement with the host as well. And of course, we also talk about affordability. Usually it is cheaper compared to other e-commerces, and they could also get like detailed explanation about the size, the texture, the material, and so on and so forth. And if we ask to them the purchase habit when they're doing their live shopping, Usually they buy on TikTok as their primary platform. And mostly the type is on plan compared to planned. Maybe on regular e-commerce, it is a combination between planned and unplanned, but on live shopping, mostly it is unplanned. And the reason for this is because in live selling, there's a technique for a limited time offer. So then there's a sense of urgency to directly do their shopping. And in terms of frequency, from who the people we talked to, it's a high frequency. It could be any time and it could be at least once a week. And this is a qualitative finding that needs also to be confirmed quantitatively, whether the frequency mostly or average is like once a week. And the type of products that they usually buy is lifestyle products like clothing, bags, and shoes, and also products like cosmetics or personal care, are consumable like drinks and snacks, food. So if we see the journey of people going to a live shopping, mostly the awareness comes up from TikTok. So they start from the FYP for you page, where they, when they're browsing probably through their FYP, and then there is a live shopping video, and they are then interested to try and watch, and then they're triggered there. And because there's promotions and the host is also very engaging and there's a limited time offer, so then there is where their trial is. Maybe they try first, like maybe of 30 or 60,000 rupiah, something that is cheap first, and then they buy. And from their experience, then they continue again. Like, oh, the deal is very good. And because it's practical, it's easy, it's seamless. So it makes them repeat the process of buying again through life. And another factor is emotionally, so which is entertainment. So in the interaction is two ways with the host and also other shoppers. That also helps them to fill their free time. So there are people who can spend hours just to watch live shopping, which is not only for shopping, but because they need entertainment as well. So the need from a live session here is not only for purchasing, but also for entertainment. And the main consideration is promotion, because, yeah, and live shopping. And because of the limited time offer, because it's like only in this 1 hour, the next 1 hour, or next 15 minutes, and so on and so forth. And also product quality. So they also shop like after seeing the quality of the product. And where do they get this from? Is from the reviews and ratings from the previous buyers, and also the followers, how many followers the shop has, and also the type of merchant. They prefer official stores rather than resellers, and also the product that are being displayed in the live selling, and also the ability of the host to describe their products. And one thing that we maybe did not expect is that host is actually very crucial in attracting the successful of the live selling. So the skill is very important to make them interested to buy, converted as a buyer. So the host also needs to be responsive and also talk and entertaining when they are explaining the product, and also answering from the audience. And number four is like how many people are watching the live session at the same time. That is also one of the benchmarks whether this store is worth to buy from. So the number of audiences is also like a social proof. Like if many people buy, maybe then the price is cheap or the shop is good. And the last here is availability. So how complete the stocks are, that also makes them interested to buy more. Okay, so that is in terms of the perspectives of the buyers or the shopper. And we also try to see from the sellers why they are interested to sell through live selling on TikTok, and what are their ways of getting their audience. So the journey is actually also starting from TikTok. They know that there's live selling on TikTok, and the trigger for them to try to sell live on TikTok is because it's practical and it's easy. Especially mostly of the sellers there are SME, And this is also a good way to actually grow their business because you don't need a big capital, you don't need to open a store, and the reach of the audience is also very, very wide. And this also helps them to answer the complaints from consumers. So they could directly explain to consumers through live interaction, and they are then triggered to also try because they are inspired by other hosts when they are browsing through TikTok as well. And mostly they sell through TikTok and a few tries through Instagram as well. And after the experience of trying to do live selling, they continue because it's high profitability, the turnover is high, and also because they don't need a big capital, they can get a profit from there as well. And also emotionally, they feel more empowered. And this is because although it's mostly SME, but they can actually reach a bigger audience, and the playing field with big brands is also the same. So if we have these bigger brands, if we sell through live selling, then there's also this competition with this SME as well. So for the seller, actually the strength of live selling is because they can then explain the product more convincing, so they could just keep repeating what is the advantages of their products. And also it's flexible timing, so they can pick a time at their convenience or waiting for a bigger audience. And what's also interesting is that actually the more they are actually doing these live sessions, they can create followers that are quite strong. And even at a point, one of the sellers mentions that they already have militants. Militants here means that the shoppers or the audience even help them to answer their questions, or even like defends the seller if there is a question which is maybe quite negative. So there's a point where the hosts uh, has a lot of fans, so they have their loyalists, strong loyalists. Okay. And the main motivation for live selling is that they can create traffic, and also practical and for the seller. And they also have a sense of entertainment because they could interact with people that they may not know in real life. So they could also have a social connection as well between the seller and the buyer. Okay, so as I already mentioned, if we sell consistently, then there's a chemistry between the seller and the shopper, and then you would have these militant followers. And these militant followers, you can say, are these army repurchases followers, and they even support the sellers during live sessions, helping to answer questions, and also help to fight negative comments. Like, let's say, oh, it's too expensive. And then the army would defend, like, well, yeah, it's expensive, but it's really good. And these militant followers, how can they be created? So they could actually claim and that it's truthful and defensible and most affordable. So they could also help to in creating these claims. And consistent live selling can also encourage the spirit of friendship. So there is a seller that even becomes like a celeb, and they started by doing live selling. So they did not start by being a celebgram or influencer, but because of doing live selling, they could become celebrities, celebs. Okay, so the key takeout, a promotion is one of the main keys so that consumers would be interested to try to shop through live selling. But actually, outside of promotion, host is an element that is the most crucial in live selling so that they could actually create these militant followers. So promotion can actually take shoppers to come in and shop, but the right host could actually do engaging and make them come back. and people who would be in live shopping for 1 hour or more. It's not only for the shopping here anymore, but because of the host. And we can say that they are avatars. So before they make a purchase, the shopper, they would like to try first, right? They would like to know the details of the products because they could not have the real experience. They cannot touch, they cannot use the product. So the host would then be like the avatar for the shopper to get the experience of trying on the products. And from the part of the seller, this host is also very crucial to create these militant followers. So for shoppers and sellers, a host has a very crucial role here in the success of the live selling. And because the host is important, we also see from the videos that we see from the top 99 live sellers, the role of a host is also all different. They have different personas. So if you follow our LinkedIn page, you can see that there are 14 personas of live sellers with their different styles of selling. And if we do a deeper analysis on the top 99 videos, if yeah we do profiling, so first is in terms of the categories. So what's dominant here is in fashion and apparel. So from these 99 videos, 42% is from the category of fashion, 24% skincare beauty, 18% personal care, and then 16% gadget electronics, and then makeup cosmetics, which is 14%, and so on and so forth. So if we see the beauty category, it also has a strong domination combination of skincare, personal care, makeup, and cosmetics. So this is also a category that is dominant besides fashion or apparel. And for food, drinks, it's still 6% in the top 99. Supplements, multivitamin, we have 10% over here. And then the question is, these top 99, are there celebrities or just these SMEs? Because there's like, I guess it was on social media that right now celebrities are taking over because once they go live they could get like billions, right? And yeah, because they have strong followers, but it doesn't mean that SME does not have followers. If you see from the top 99 videos, 41% are actually this SME that have their own brands, own products. They're not resellers. 20% is then from big brands, like maybe skincare, like Skintific, or from Erigo, let's say. And then 90% is these celebrities or influencers, KOL, that do not have their own brand, like Nagita Slavina. They have a store, but they sell many different products depending on who requests them to do a hosting for their products. And then 11% is celebrity influencers, KOL, who have their own brands, like Dr. Richard Lee. He has his own brand. So that goes into this category. And 11% is SMEs that they don't have their own brands. So they are resellers. So let's say they are a reseller of MS Glow, for instance. That then goes into this category. And if we see from all of these categories, big brands here is in skincare, beauty, 40% is over there, and 50% makeup and cosmetics. And if we see from the MSME, they're strong in fashion, apparel, 71%. And if we see celebrity influencers, brand owners, it's either fashion or skincare. And for celebrities or influencers, non-brand owners, where they are endorsed, the total is then here more because they could do live for 3 or 4 products. So mostly it's in gadget, personal care, and skincare. So, okay, everyone, if you have questions, you can type in the Q&A, then we can answer either in the Q&A or from the panelists, okay? So the duration, how could you go into the top 99? So 49% of the top 99 sellers, they go live all day, 24 hours. So 50 outlets, they go airing fully 24 hours. And then 25% is then long duration, more than 10 hours. And then there's also 4 to 10 hours. And other than that, shorter. Okay. And we see from the type of seller, whether it's all day or long duration. So yeah, from MSME brand owner, 60% is all day, and big brands also all days, and then celebrities or KOL, they're more into long duration, which is around 10 hours. And the gender of the host, mostly they are female, up to 81%, with the age of 20 to 30 years old. And the type of host, 73% is non-influencers or non-KOL. So the hosts are just regular people like us. And 15% then influencers, celebs, or KOL. And this 12% is a bit difficult to identify because there is a lot of micro influencers as well. So we don't know where they go. Like influencers, they don't have a lot of following, but non-influencer, we can't really say that they're not. Okay. So here, if we see the gender based on the categories, so male host, mostly they are in gadgets or electronics and multivitamin supplements, but females host are then dominant in all categories. And then if we see the ages, young ages, mostly in personal care, skincare, and 26-30 are dominant in fashion, makeup, cosmetics. Okay. And if we see influencers versus non-influencers, influencers, they're quite a lot in multivitamin, and non is then in fashion and personal care, makeup and cosmetics. And from here, we analyze this video through the method of semiotics to get what are the personas from these 99 videos here. And then we separate into 4 quadrants. So how we see this here is this horizontal one to the left means that it's focusing on the host. So the host is more dominant comparing to the product if it's on the left. And on the right, it is more focusing on the product. So the host is not important in the video. What's more important is the product. And if we see vertically, going down is more persuasive, they persuade, more emotional. And on top, it's more into expertise based on their skills. So they try to offer their product based on that shows their product knowledge or expertise of these hosts. So then therefore we have 4 quadrants. On left bottom here, persuasive persona power, and then knowledgeable advocates on the left top. And these are people who focus on expertise based and host centric. And then on the right here is expert demonstrations. And then the right bottom is persuasive, but also product centered. So we call it compelling offerings here. So here we have 14 personas that we found. The first is celebrity promoters, eccentricity sales, and then with the pop culture right now, they call it ngap culture, called budaya abang-abang. So there are also the sellers who are like that. And then we have relatable homemakers. These are more into housewives, like the neighbor next door, and then approachable charmers, and then slick urbanities is like these CBD people, and then with all elegant merchants, and then we have also aggressive sales pitchers who push people to directly do their shopping right now. And there's also here Indonesian Karen. They're not friendly, and we have expert power who are focusing on their expertise, and scientific consultants, so they are like consultants, so not really like sellers. And then we have here product as the hero, and then virtualized storefront, and scarcity and urgency. We're going to look at these Okay, so if we see from the size, how many videos uses this approach? If we focus on the top 99 videos, the approach that is mostly used is the product as the hero. So the product is the main focus of selling. And then number two is approachable charmers. So maybe they have their own signature. Like if you go to Pasar Klewer, if you go to a traditional market, they're more humble, they're more friendly, and if we see from the number of videos, mostly it's into host centric 83% and then 66% into product centric. And we need to remember that in a video, there are several codes or symbols that are being used. And that is why the total could be more than 100%. And then we go into the personas. The first, there's expert power. So, expert power is sellers where they leverage their skills. So using the title of doctor, like Dr. Richard Lee. So he's selling skincare. So he uses his expertise to convince people to shop. And here, the most obvious is the channel of Dr. Richard Lee and Reza Gladys. And both are dermatologists and they have skincare products. And another example is in the category of electronics, Kochun. So if you see his contents, there's a lot of product reviews. So therefore, he gets the expertise of a product reviewer, but actually he also has a store which sells products. So by them positioning themselves as expert, so they make the consumers convinced that they actually have the ability to actually introduce the best products for their customers, and the categories in beauty, personal care, and electronics. And number two is scientific consultants. So the previous one was real experts, but here are how you see them as experts. So let's say they use this white lab coat so that it seems scientific, and then the languages that they use is also technical, and there's also some using glasses, which maybe gives the impression that it's more science, more academic for the discussion. And then also the colors that are being chosen at the background are colors that are more soft. And how they sell, they focus a lot to technical of the product itself. So they could grab consumers that are seeing more into, okay, this product has scientific background. So it actually convinces the buyers that this product would suit me. And here the example is here scientific. So they highlight the product also in the scientific side. And then next we have, this is very interesting. It's called Indonesian Karen. So if we talk about Karen overseas internationally, these who are not friendly, who are annoying, who are entitled, let's say. And Indonesian Karen, they also here sell not in a friendly way, but unfriendly. And the followers are actually quite a lot as well because they go into the top 99. They're very assertive. And sometimes the language is harsh or saying that the buyers are stupid, but they like it. And there's an example here, which I'm going to show to you. Okay, so this is Miss Gosrock. So she sells actually feminine wash, and how she sells it is actually quite unique. Yeah, it's a. Is it lagging? Okay, that's from the original language. It seems harsh, but that way is also unique and interesting for the buyers. And then the other product here is Scent Plus. It's more into perfume, and she's also unfriendly, just like Miss Gosrock. So when people ask again and again, they would like tease, like, "Oh, you didn't listen to me. You weren't even listening." Okay. Next, we have celebrity promoters. Maybe I don't have to explain a lot about these because they are celebrities that uses their popularity to attract audience, like Ruben Onsu, Nagita Slavina. And the categories that are being sold, it also depends on who would like to endorse them. And then the next persona, so this is ngap-ngap or abang-abang. So the selling technique is they put themselves as these young people who are more casual. So they attract more to these youth where their social classes is more into middle or middle low, and the languages being used is also language that is relevant to them. So like ngap, as you can see on the screen, and this is mostly used in fashion, and one of the brands that uses this is Erigo, as you can see. And then next we have slick urbanites. So these are sellers where they are more into cosmopolitan, more sophisticated. So if we see from their videos, it's more polished for the presentation. Like the video up here, they use a background that's like in a boutique, and the sellers, they're also sophisticated, and they're also not really pushy. So they're more classy. So this is then suitable for people who would like to buy products that are aspirational, that seems like luxury, but it's not that expensive. And then the next persona here, they sell through eccentricity. So Hakim Kim also went viral on Twitter because his way of selling, which is unique, because his face is really like oily, like glowing, shiny, and they adopt this element of eccentric, like a lot of makeup or weird hairdos or clothing that's also eye-catching, unique, so that they could stand out when they are actually selling. So if we see on the right here, Foculaire, this is actually male, but he dresses as a female. So if you don't listen to the voice, you don't know whether this is actually male. I'm going to play one of these videos. Okay, this is the real audio. Okay, wait, it's lagging.
Kalau nggak bisa dicoba nanti aku aja, oke? Betul banget ya, jadi boleh kita cek out dulu kamu stoknya aja kakak. Jangan tunggu nanti cek out sekarang aja ya. Betul. Ya, untuk kita pakai kelas nomor 1 ya. Jadi berapa kali sebelum bisa pakai saya, oke? Betul ya. Jadi gak usah ragu lagi ambil.
Ya, itu contohnya ya.
Okay, so that is the example. The more eccentric, the more interesting it would be for the audience. And then next we have relatable homemakers. So these mostly are housewives where they have this side hustle selling from their own homes. So the persona is very genuine. So they sell, sometimes it's also awkward because they are at home, they're selling, and then they go to the kitchen because let's say they have to turn their stoves off. So more authentic, so more amateur impression. Like here, she's going live and then the kitchen passes by through the camera, but the audience can then engage with them because they feel this is just like the female next door, because it's really relatable and it's just like everyday life going to this female. And then we have elegant merchants, different from the previous. They actually like really would like to show element of luxury. So if you see the coats, the symbols, which is like a chandelier, and then also marmor, and then gold, and then from their clothing, they would like to show elegance. So they actually could captivate the audience that has the aspiration for a higher lifestyle, although maybe the product that they're selling is not that luxury. And And then we have approachable charmers. So these are personas that are very friendly, very natural, and they have approaches like humor, casual, so that they can engage well. So they use languages like in Javanese language, and there's also traditional food. They use Bataknese. They call their audiences ito, or this gestam Tio calls the audience by Cheche. So I'm going to play to you this one. Okay, so that was approachable charmers, this guy, and I checked this store is still in the top 99. So from the data that we got in July until today, they could still last in the top 99. And then here we have the typical live selling, aggressive sales pitchers. So they have like dynamic, they talk very quickly, and they focus on pushing people to directly do a checkout. So they talk quick and also creating this strong sense of urgency. So the point is that so that people would directly wants to do a checkout, or otherwise they would lose the deal. And it's you being used in almost all categories. And then next we have product as the hero. So here the main focus is not in the host anymore, but in the products. So in the video, you could see that the host is quite at the back, not in the front, and they focus on the benefit of the products, are also focusing on the color options of the products. And then in the product as the hero, one of the approaches that are being used is that they could see the host actually trying the product to see whether it actually would suit to be used. And then next we have virtualized storefronts. So here it's like they are selling from their own store, not from home or anywhere else. This gives the impression to the buyer that this seller is real. They have a store and they're selling from there. So this is like bridging between online and offline. So if they would like to see that this store is really there, they could see like on the left, let's say she's in Tanah Abang, and on the right, let's say she's in a factory outlet or a distro. So this helps the consumers to get the feel like shopping offline here, but online. So the seller is then more authentic and trustworthy because they have their own store. Okay, and next we have scarcity and urgency. So here we can see that they are here focusing on how people could buy as fast as possible, and then using a timer, how long the deal would then end. Okay, so here, like if people don't directly do a checkout, it feels like the buyers is losing something here. Okay, so way forward, what can we do? What can we get as the insight of this study? So here are several strategies of live selling that sellers that during the FGD. So one is so to use one account for one product category. So as in SME, we sell a lot of things, not only fashion, but also skincare. So they mentioned like just make two different stores for this because on TikTok, it kind of makes it different for stores that sells skincare and fashion. And also you need to be consistent. So you have to have a specific time slot so that audience could know when we would be live. Ideally it would be 24 hours, but maybe there's also the limited source. So if we can't do it for 24 hours, we should have a consistent time slot for certain hours that we have already announced what time we would be going live. And then engaging hosts, we have already talked about this. And what's also important is pre-preparation. So the preparation before the live selling, whether it's the device, the stock, the decoration, and everything. And host live selling sessions effectively, then you need to know your audience so they consistently monitor from the viewership, whether this is new audience or recurring, and what questions usually comes from the audiences. And also you can learn from other live hosts. And there are also people who would go live, like let's say in the middle of the night, that is as a practice. So if they're then going on a peak hour, they're more ready. And there is also two-way interaction, not only one, and then focusing to sell on the products and also calling their audiences with kaka or ibu or ito. And then limited time promotion, that's also one of the ways for them to create that purchase. And here are some of the profiles of hosts that we need to see on because they need to be enlivening the session, and also proficient and credible, and then authentic. So they really could also communicate with other people, communicative, responsive as well, and also flexible. So if there's something that is unpredictable, then they would not change directly emotionally. And what's most important is that, and this is what we tend to forget, to pick the right persona based on the personality of our brand. That is also something that we cannot just ignore. So it's not important. It's not only that we pick a host that's just fun or talkative, but also needs to be an extension of our brand. Like, for example, consistent between the host and the brand, like Erigo with the Ngabers culture. So Erigo is into millennials and Gen Z, and the price is also very affordable. Fashion style is also updated for this segment. So they take host that meets their segment and the attitude of the brand. So when consumers shop through live shopping, they have the sense that, oh yeah, this is for me for this segment with this attitude with the Ngabers culture. Okay. Well, the inconsistent persona here, so this is then not ideal, is the Scentplus with Indonesian Karen. If we see Scentplus itself, it's a brand of perfume which is seductive, the attitude. So if we see in their social media, the names are very seductive, like Harney, Mr. Crush, Pro Player, but the live selling is not seductive, but more into rude and arrogance instead of seductive. So our analysis is maybe that TikTok itself prohibits like sensuality. So therefore they maybe use a different approach. So therefore they use an approach that is more into this Indonesian Karen, maybe so that they could not be banned. But the persona is then different between sentiment on social media and sentiment on live selling. So it's also important to pick the right persona for our brand. And then last is how we can make sure that live selling is not only for short term, so not to create sales, but also to have a benefit for our brand image, which is more long term. So here, of course, this is the area which is then more applicable to talk about this, which is digital C. That's it from me. Maybe if there are any questions, we can look at the Q&A and we will answer directly. But because of the limitation of time, we might also type it. And I would give it back to Bella. Go ahead, Bella. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Harris, for your presentation. Is very insightful, right? So we now know what are the personas of live selling hosts that are on TikTok. And then for the next session, this would be by Digital C, our partner, and this would be by Miss Emperian, or how we usually call her with Miss Pim Pim. And Ligia, go ahead. The floor is yours. Okay. Terima kasih.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. So first of all, thank you, Bella, for giving us this. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes.
hear you clearly.
Yeah, okay, okay, okay. So yeah, thank you, everyone. I think first of all, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whichever part of the world you guys are listening into. So first of all, thank you for taking out time. And I think we had a very, very wonderful, insightful research that Pa Harris took us through. Very interesting. So today we are representing Digital C. So me along with my colleague Pim Pim will be talking about few things that we are specifically in regards to the whole TikTok ecosystem. So I will get into the presentation. So I will just start quickly because I think we also have a paucity of time. So I'll just quickly tell you so basically, we represent Digital Sea Indonesia. So we represent. So we are in Indonesia since last 20 years. We represent FCB Jakarta. We also represent McCann Group, the advertising group, and MRM and McCann. We also have a partner who delves into brand designing, etc., making meat from a logo to packaging, etc. And we also have a division, a vertical for performance marketing. But today, why are we here? And building on what Pa Harris and the Illuminate team had come up with, that we want to get into, we want to speak about something, some vertical that we have called Snack Studio, and which is where the whole the research part also came in, right? So that is also was a learning for us. So as I said, we are in creative communication agencies since last 20 years. We represent top global agency brands, McCann and FCB, and we work with a lot of local clients from Indonesia. We have won a lot of awards for our past previous work, etc., including a Cannes. So I will just speak through it very quickly. This is the core team that leads Digital Sea Indonesia. So Chetan Shetty is a managing director. We have Imperia, who's our strategic lead in this call, and we have Adi Karnajaya, who's a creative director. We have Adi, who's a senior business director, and we have Roma, who's a business lead, and then that's me. That's Lijo Davis. I'm the digital head. We are the core team who leads Digital Sea Indonesia. Yeah. So as mentioned, we have worked with uh like a mix of lot of brands from FMCG to automotive, etc., and all that stuff. So I'll just quickly run through that also. Yeah. So this is why are we here today, right? Snack Studio. So I think in this panel everyone knows what a snackable content is, right? So that is where the whole idea of Snack Studio came as a vertical. So we realized, like, and as a communication agency, while obviously we focus on a lot of ATL and BTL and larger big campaigns, but we also this was a learning for us. And in November, around November, when we focused and we thought, where is our audience also spending time, right? And Indonesia being a market where TikTok is huge, is where we thought we should also focus on. So we at Digital CR is taking TikTok very seriously, as I would say, as an a lot of people say it's an emerging platform, but for us, to be honest, it's a platform where already the audience is doing a lot of things in regards to consuming content to engaging, etc. And obviously a very, very interesting layer of which lot of social media doesn't offer, which is live shopping, right? So that's one of the key reasons, because we also initiated live selling and we wanted to understand the ecosystem better, and we understand the whole the host business, etc. Right, and that's when we partnered with an able partner like Illuminate to understand how this ecosystem work. And that's, for example, for us also, it was very surprising, the 14 personas of live hosting, etc. We always thought it is only about hard selling, but that was an eye-opening insight for us in regards to different kind of personas, etc. Right. So in today's world, as I mentioned, right, like the consumer is changing, right? Lesser TV, people are more on mobile, on the go, people are consuming content, snackable content on weekend, or for example, when you are more chill, you look at it long form content. Uh, Too many things to consume, too little time, and the attention span is very, very less. Correct. So as we mentioned, for example, we are taking TikTok very seriously because we also see the numbers, right? So we did a very simple comparison of just to see TikTok versus Instagram. We're not saying that Instagram is dead. Obviously, Instagram is also adapting what TikTok is doing, right? Reels is a exact replica of what TikTok does. So with a large user base, like I think Don had mentioned earlier, right? When in regards to the Indonesia market, it's a great user base, 109 million. And if you look at the volumes of content that is created specifically in regards to short content for TikTok, 367 million. That's a huge number. That is that people are making content compared to, for example, IG Reels that has been used by Indonesian consumers. And specifically also from a time perspective, right? The time spent monthly, 29 hours versus 16 hours is a very huge number that we're looking at. So we, as an agency, we also looked at what challenges the marketers are facing and brands face, right? So uh, because, for example, as a learning, we saw that a lot of brands, when they make content, obviously they look at content which is more uh, Instagram first, and then a lot of mirroring is done, etc. Right? So, and TikTok being a platform where the frequency is high, a lot of brands had this challenge of how to create content in regards to volume, which looks more organic, not a very polished content or looks like an ad or something like that. How to use trends to be part of the whole brand storytelling, and how to measure metrics of success. Correct. So, so the brand wants to say make content, but it should not be ad. It should be bite size. It should be non-intrusive, higher frequency, and entertainment. But everything has to have a certain brand fit. Correct. So the operating system that we operate at Snack Studio, and looking at the core of TikTok, okay, when it comes to TikTok, the core of TikTok is entertainment. No one comes to TikTok to look at brands. Everyone comes to just look at instant entertainment. So your FYP that you use in regards to your interest and what you follow, etc., is what TikTok algorithm throws, right? But it is on the basis of the core of it is at entertainment with funny videos, transitions or dance, etc., or trending music, etc., and all that thing. So, and brands are also latching onto that. So the idea is to use entertainment and convert that into either into brand affinity in regards to engagement or followers, or for example, even pushing sales, right? Like, because TikTok enables live selling and shops, etc., all that thing. Correct. So this is the approach that we take, right? So as an integrated marketing creative communication agency, right? We don't take as a like TikTok as a separate platform. The idea is that, for example, when we do communication, yes, TV creates mass awareness and reach, but we also need to have something which is a digital always on, right? Because it creates constant salience. So what we do is, which we look at the larger brand communication that we work with clients and what they want to push through, and digital always on is the lens that we use to push the narrative. So with digital always on, what is the advantage of that is that, compared to, for example, something that you have to do in a TV, where, for example, you have to go through the whole process of brainstorming, then script, then, for example, research on stylomatics, etc., then then the TVC goes live, etc. And then you do a BLS and all that thing, right? So it's a longer process. But when it comes to digital always on, and specifically on TikTok, what we are saying is, or what we have experienced is that it gives you an opportunity to make fresh narratives every day. So you can instantly change your narratives that you want to, obviously keeping the brand communication, but you can experiment and you can play a lot. It always helps you with an always on frequency. It widens your brand saliency. And it helps you to be part of the pop culture. So whatever is trending, people are talking about, you can immediately latch on to it as a brand, and you can create your brand story into that, right? And doing that, you are very closer, and it strengthens the brand equity. So the beauty of TikTok is, it is the more human side of the brand, that it enables the brand to be more human compared to, for example, an Instagram, which is more, for example, very close to what your brand persona is, or what you want to push as a brand persona. But TikTok is playful, as humor, etc. Right? So you as a brand can obviously be more human and have the connect for the audience in general. It drives trials, etc. So for example, you can use short content to push trials, or even you can use live shopping to push trials, because it gives you that opportunity. And obviously TikTok is a space where original content, or being original, is celebrated. So as a brand also, you have an opportunity to be experimental, correct? So this is what we have. So what we say, the answer to your content journey, right? What we do at Snack Studio is taking your brand message, your larger brand message. We can make content at scale economically, right? Which is more relevant to your target audience. So it's a retrofit of what your audience is and what your brand story is. And what we do is, it's just not, we don't take the typical mindset of making a content calendar and then, for example, send it for approval. It goes to the hierarchy from the brand level to the marketing head. The idea is to make instant content as per the latest trends. So whatever is trend, we want to fit our narrative into that trend and make content so that it is more reach. It has more reach and more engagement, and so in that sense, right? And what we also do is, we also track the weekly performance of the content, and what we suggest, or we work with clients, is to boost whatever content that is performing. So we try to push that as boosting, and we try to get, and if a content is performing really well, we push it to get more views, which pushes for more reach in general. Yeah. So this is what we are saying when we say, when it comes to the core of Snack Studio operations, what we have been trying to do since 1 year, and we've been working with few brands, is to change in mindset. It is, when it comes to TikTok specifically, we are not saying that you approach it through a very traditional way of doing things of advertising. It has to be retrofit in regards to the platform, and it has to be agnostic. So what we are saying is, we need to keep an always on mindset. We cannot say, hey, come on, this is what my brand messaging is, I have to speak only this. No, what we are saying is, yes, your brand message is core, but we also need to have the platform language, or the platform speak, or whatever that's trending. The idea is to put entertainment first, and then put the brand layer to it. So we keep an always on mindset. Similarly, what we're saying is lightning execution. So uh, in this term, for example, why we say lightning execution. So what we do is, as at Snack Studio, we do not make content in-house. What we do is, we rely on a pool of content creators who are good at making content, who use the platform day in, day out, etc. Right? So that is where the lightning execution comes. So once the brief comes, we work with content creators for lightning execution. And obviously, when we do everything, so as TikTok is also about frequency. So if we do more volume, there is cost efficiency. And then again, as it's an experimental platform, it's a learning, it's a learn. So whatever do, for example, what worked 1 week ago, we change that the next week. So it's a run, learn and run approach that we take. Yeah. So I just want to very quickly run through it. I don't want to bore you guys in regards to the process, but as I was mentioning, right? So when we work with brands, we work on a brand. So the client shares the brand brief in regards to what is the product focus for that particular month, or is there a campaign coming up, etc. And all that thing that we want to talk about. So what happens is, the team at Snack Studio, we co-develop the monthly EP, or in a generic term called the content calendar, which is the broader content calendar of what we're going to talk about. And similarly, at the same time, our team uh, connects with content creators that we have. So we have a pool of more than 200, 300 content creators, and we brief them saying, okay, we have this interesting brief, or the brand that we have, as per the TG that we want to target, and we brief them, and people who are interested come on board, and we start working with them. So how we work with them is, once the content creators are locked, etc., and our EP, our monthly calendar is content calendar is locked. Depending, so we do a weekly and monthly trend tracking. So we have an internal dashboard which our team looks at in regards to the FYP of everyone in general, or what's trending in the country in Indonesia. And on that basis, what we do is we brief the content creators to make stories or make content with the brand story filled into it. So it's just a very quick process. I mean, like the turnaround time is 2 to 3 days, or 4 days maximum, depending on how deeper you want to get into the brand story. But usually the turnaround time is that. And the idea is to go live as soon as possible, because that's the trending topic for that particular week, etc. So that's how we process. And then we publish the content, and we look at the engagement numbers in regards to views from an organic point of view. And if you see something is performing or connecting with our audience, what we do is we put a minimum amount of budget. So for example, you can boost with the 500,000 rupiah a year, and you can boost the content to get views. Or maybe, for example, if your objective is to gain followers, TikTok gives you an opportunity to as an objective called community interaction. So it helps you to build your fan base also. So that depends on how and what brand wants to. Some brands only want to focus on views as an objective. So we can work on that. And what we do after that is we do a monthly reporting to see what content has performance, take some learnings from it, course correction, etc. We also look at competition, what competition does, and we connect to the client, and obviously then rework the whole monthly content calendar again, right? So this is a glimpse of a dashboard that we use internally in Stack Studio. Basically, as I mentioned, the team tracks what kind of trends are going on. So, for example, if you guys see on the right hand side, we have something called a template, which is like either a transition, or people use template to do that. Dance, for example, is a dance trending. Transition is another one. Sound is another one. So it gives you a percentage of what kind of trends are trending in that particular. So it's updated every Monday, and it goes to our client, etc., on that thing. Similarly, on the right hand side, if you want to see what is the video, we can click on the video and it goes to that particular video to see the trend. Yeah. So these are the current brands that we work with in Indonesia. So we have few brands across categories, say from perfume to fast moving goods, like for example some detergent brands. We have chips, etc., on the way that we have worked on. Uh, so just few, I'm not gonna show each and every content, but these are the few content examples that we work on. So for example, how to use your product and use on trends, etc. I've kept the volume little low. I don't know if everyone's able to hear, but yeah. So this is what we make in regards to our day-to-day content, how we use instant content, like the content pool, to make some content for our clients. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So similarly, for example, yeah. So we have feminine hygiene, and we speak about feminine hygiene. So it is a very human side of content what we want to push. It's not like, for example, a very polished content. So the idea is to be platform agnostic. So that's what we try to do, and we get, for example, we get good views in general. And if you think it's really working well, we put more media monies to push it to a larger audience. So yeah. So I'm gonna just skip to the next slide, because so we just wanted to summarize, and this is a learning that we have gotten since 1 year that we've been working on Snack Studio. So the first learning, that obviously we saw that every brand is trying to do mirror content. And especially when you do a very polished content on a platform like TikTok, you have a very restricted reach. In fact, I think the audience rejects that kind of content. They're not very interested. But when it comes to very simple, authentic, raw content, it makes it relatable, and people tend to watch things and see things, etc. Right? And as TikTok mentioned, right, while, for example, if you're a brand, if you're aiming for live shopping and live selling, and you are 24 hours live, but it also needs to be complemented through short content. So it has to be a mix of both. So it has to have regular content frequency with content boosting. And if you are a brand that you want to sell more in regards to your sales conversion, etc., so it has to complement each other. And the idea is we need to ride on trends so that we appear more and more on the FYP instead of just being making content in the silo, which we think as a brand is right. It should be the other way, taking entertainment as a filter and looking at what's trending, and we try to put a brand layer onto that story. And the another thing which we also think, while we do short content and organic content, it's always good to use KOLs or buzzers for incremental reach. So if, for example, if there is a double-digit sale or a 9-9 sale that you want to push, yes, of course, make short content for it. But to make or create awareness for that particular thing, what we also recommend is to use KOLs or buzzers to push traffic for your live or your flash sale, etc. That's what we recommend. Yeah. So so we so as Snack Studio, we also do e-commerce from live to conversion. In fact, that was one of our core reasons to get in. We worked with Illuminate to understand how the whole live hosting angle works, because for us also it was learning. So we currently do this as an in-house. So we have an in-house studio where we have the modern studio facilities. We have creative and tech specialist who manages the OBS software, etc. All that thing. As we have a pool of what do you say, content creators. Similarly, we have a pool of live host who wants to earn some quick money but sell some products, etc. All that thing. And we can also work with Mega and Macro Cable, who can come and maybe, for example, be part of the live shopping, etc. And obviously, reporting is one of the outtakes of the whole thing, right? So this is a glimpse of studio that we have. In fact, we have upgraded to a new space, and in fact, we made it two studios. We had only one studio, but now we have two studios. Yeah. So yeah, these are the Snack Studio capabilities that we have. So for example, currently we make 250 plus content per month. Uh, so we also do in-house content. So for example, we also do content for Instagram from in the form of static content, motion graphic, repurposed content, product and photography. Uh, in regards to the platform agnostic creator content, we have, as I said, we have 100 plus content creators. So we make content for TikTok shorts. We can make the similar content for IG reels, etc. And we can choose creators as per the brand liking. So, for example, if the brand has a specific target audience and they want, say, for example, hey, I want super premium wants to work with me. Can you get us creators who are in that zone? So obviously we can figure that, and we can get that content creators. And as I mentioned, trend analysis and reporting, etc. And then we do everything else in regards to page and community management, responding to DMs and contest and price management, etc. All that thing. And we also do the planning and strategy in regards to boosting and what we can do and all that thing. So from an end to end in regards to the whole campaign or Snack Studio, yeah. So yeah, that's quickly what we wanted to connect and speak. And I would like to thank the team Illuminate to give us an opportunity to speak about it. Yeah. So thank you so much from our end. Do you want to add? Yeah, I think my colleague Pimpim wants to add something. Just so yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So what Lijo have mentioned before, that's our services, and on top of that, there are also a lot of questions that actually we can provide. Like for example, you about the consumer journey and whether the brand personification should fit in on which type of consumer, which type of brand. Then that's actually our job to help reshape that. Of course, with the help of the of course 14 brand personification that mentioned by Mas Haris through through the semiotic process, of course, there is will be some how do you call it, some overlap, not real, not there not like so clear on that. There is also a question on that, whether the brand personification could be merged or could be you dissect it again. Of course, it depends on your brand and whether you want to use it for what objective. And on top of that, there are also a question whether how brand could be the top selling, for example. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mas Haris, most of the 99 top seller brands that we are dissect is actually live 24/7 per week, yeah. Because the more you're there, the more also the algorithm of TikTok also catching up, and then also the awareness maybe also becoming more on the brand. Having said that, not necessarily also objective of the TikTok selling will be only solely for sales. So some brands also using TikTok selling as to strengthen brand equity as well. Because they're projecting certain persona and everything. So that's it. I'm ending it now. So thank you very much for your attention. Back to Bella, Mas Haris. Yeah. Bella.
Okay, hi, Lijo, Miss Pim Pim for the presentation. So right now, we still have 3 open Q&A. Please wait. So right now it's already 16:22. So with the presentation and the Q&A from our 3 speakers, this also means that our webinar ends today. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating here. We thank you very much. I represent here Illuminate Asia and also Digital C. We really say thank you very much for being here and your participation. And I have already mentioned as well that there's a door prize as well. So don't worry, after this, 3 lucky winners we would contact either via WhatsApp or email, and we would inform related to our door prize. Okay. So if there are any further questions or if you would like to know more about what are the methods being offered by Illuminate and services by Illuminate and Digital C, then feel free to contact us through LinkedIn or through website. We're really open. So once again, thank you very much for your participation and being here. Thank you and good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Bye.